According to a popular quote from Mike Murdoch, he said we can only be remembered for two things: the problems we solved and those we create. And no surprise, Nigerians have continued to react to the demise of our former president, Muhammadu Buhari, since his death on Sunday and even his burial yesterday. The social media and other public space seem to always react to it. Well, irrespective of which side of the divide you are in, I want to quickly welcome you. Is the Polity on Kaftan TV. My name is Michael Gobadia. You do know the Polity. We talk about major issues, social-political issues that seems to be on the front burner, and we tend to discuss about all issues and bring them to your table for you to also be a part of it, because you know most certainly towards the twilight of the show, we always open up the lines for you to also be a part of it, and indeed we'll always enjoy your reactions to the beautiful topics we tend to discuss on the Polity. There's no change of our tradition. You also would know that we're always being joined by a guest. Could be one or two, or we can join anyone anywhere in the world just for us to talk about major issues on the front burner of the country. And like I said, today will be no different. Once again, welcome. Is the Polity on Kaftan TV. Well, he has been in the public space for more than 4 decades, and indeed is one that many Nigerians will say we've missed him a great deal, while others will say, well, there's every reason for us to look at his legacy. And I'm talking of no other person but the Daura General and his former, or rather I'll put him late, President Muhammadu Buhari. Like I said, he died on Sunday in a hospital in London and was only buried yesterday, a state burial. No surprise, knowing how far he has contributed immensely to the growth of this great nation. But like I said in my introduction, many will still want to talk about whether they love to hate him or love to indeed talk about his great achievements in different spheres of the country. But whichever side of the divide you are in, will be love, or rather would love to get your reactions when the time comes. But you know, like I said, I'm not alone. I have a guest already with me in the studio. I will be looking at some of the major issues, the legacies of our former late President Muhammadu Buhari. We'll be looking critically at those things that he did. Some will say it's controversial, especially as talking about one that played out in 2020, the NSAS issue. We'll also be critically looking at that of his legacy as it concerns his anti-corruption war, as much as of that of the rule of law. All of that we'll definitely be looking at. But it's only right I introduce our guest right here. And he's no other person but Mr. Segun Ojelade. Well, you know, he's an in-house analyst and a journalist of high repute.
Thank you.
Mr. Segun, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mike, for having me.
Well, anyway, it's the Polity, and you also would know that we tend to discuss about major issues. But like I said, on the front burner is still the death of our late President, Muhammadu Buhari, who died on Sunday. I want us to set the tone of our discussion today. By first, I really want to ask, I'm a bit curious to get your reactions when you first heard of the death of the late president. I really want to get your honest reaction. Well, what came to your mind first when you heard of his death?
Well, on Sunday, when the news of his demise filtered in, what struck me the first time is that that's the end of an era.
End of an era.
It is the end of a chapter in the nation's political sojourn.
Okay.
Here is a man that has been around for over 4 decades, like you said. He came in as a military president. Yes. Toppling along with his cohorts. The civilian administration of President Shehu Shagari. And we all remember the Buhari Diagbon of those days, with their very draconian decrees that imprisoned a number of corrupt politicians and terminated that republic.
Yes.
And we were in that limbo for 16 years of military rule, which many will say it was a very dark period
Yes.
of the nation's political history, because it brought us back. In fact, many people believe that if not for that coup, politics and governance
in Nigeria
would have passed this stage. We will have passed these teething problems that we are having at the moment. The politicians, yes, they were wobbling and fumbling that time, but they will have learnt their lessons a great deal more by today. Well, and then he came back as a civilian president. He's coming in as his first intervention as a civilian head of state. Well, some things can be ascribed to him. That was when we knew that he was a no-nonsense guy. He was a very straightforward individual, a man. That was when we knew
that would have been my next question.
Okay.
And my next question, I really want us to really talk about the man, President Muhammadu Buhari. I know a whole lot of reactions, just like I said in my introduction, came out especially after his demise. Some really talking about how really upright he was and how he has been over the years, and also some not too good reactions, even prompting somebody like Farouk Aliyu, former minority leader of the House of Representatives and a close ally of the former president, coming out just yesterday to say, well, Nigerians should soft pedal, especially with the insults being thrown to the Dara general. But let's leave those sad reactions. I want us to also try to understand the person of President Muhammadu Buhari. Let's look at his stance. Who can we really call him to be? And the reason I'm asking this question is we know that his time during the PTF, when he was there, in every way snowballed his political career, because they felt when he handled those funds then under the later General Sani Abacha's regime, he did excellently well, especially as a man of upright integrity. So let's look at the person of President Muhammadu Buhari before we continue and really dive into the legacy, because that's what this discussion is all about.
There is no doubt on the minds of everybody, both in Nigeria and abroad, about the integrity of the late general. He was a very upright man. He was straightforward, and he was spotless when it comes to the issue of character. No, he has those ones. The man will not compromise on his integrity. He will not compromise on what he believes in. But you see, there is no way, the Yorubas will say, there is no way a man will walk and the head will not shake. Only God has attained the level of perfection.
So he still has his flaws?
No, everybody does. So he has his. But at this material time, it is for Nigerians to weigh his good points, and also there's the backdrop of those shortcomings that people can ascribe to him. So one thing that I would just plead is that let the dead rest. Buhari has played his part. He has made his achievements. He has recorded some of his downs. But now is the time for him, for those of us that are still living, to move on. Let's not continue to dwell on what he didn't do right. Although what he didn't do right again may shape our today and our tomorrow.
Because there's every reason for us to talk at or look at the legacies of late President Muhammadu Buhari to help us also bring into bear those already in leadership and see how well they can also govern this great country. And that will take me to my next question, because you talked about his integrity and how much of an upright person he has been in service to Nigeria before his coming as a civilian president. And in his coming, many felt one of his selling points was the issue of corruption. And you understand, thievery or corruption, like President Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan called it. And many will also attribute the reason that he came on board and Nigerians gave him the opportunity to rule us in 2015 was that Nigeria was being faced with a whole lot of corruption. We're talking about $3 billion that was stolen by 3 people during the Jonathan era, during the NNPC contract. And not only that, the infamous $2 billion arms deal that many persons, especially the Suki, is still being questioned about. But let's leave that and look at the anti-corruption war, because that was one of his selling points in coming to office, and Nigerians were really tired of having different tales of corruption under that administration of Goodluck Jonathan. So let's look at his corruption, his anti-corruption war. In your own honest assessment, did he really come on board to do those things he said he would do for Nigerians, especially as it concerns the anti-corruption war? In your own honest assessment.
Yes, I think Nigerians overrated him. In terms of his preparedness to fight corruption.
Okay.
He was an upright man.
Okay.
In fact, one of his major selling, one thing that endeared Nigerians to him in 2015.
Yeah.
Because Nigerians themselves, the average Nigerian on the street, was tired of the humongous rate of corruption in the country.
Okay.
So we were looking for somebody. Don't let me make the mistake of saying the Messiah. Okay. We were all looking for somebody.
Well, you're entitled to your view, because some persons will still lose.
Of course, I will not say.
But anyway, just go ahead.
Of course, I will not say a Messiah.
Okay, well.
But we were looking for somebody that can right the wrong of these corrupt practices, because it was so pervasive.
Yeah.
It is still pervasive now.
Yeah.
So if Nigerians felt, we remember this man, this wild man, this stern-looking general, this no-nonsense general. Now he's the only one that can fix this problem massively.
So my question still remains.
Yes, massively Nigerians.
Was he able to do that?
I'm coming to that. Okay. Massively Nigerians queued behind him and voted him voted him as the president. But did he actually lived up to the expectations of Nigerians in fighting corruption? He meant well. In fact, he didn't steal a dime.
Okay. Because
when he died, it was no billions was ascribed to him.
Attributed to him.
No, none. He didn't have any mansion built anywhere except his small structures in Daura and Kaduna. Nothing. Well, and his beautiful kaftans. Nothing more. He probably in the Nigerian context died broke. When you look at somebody that has been in power, president for 8 years, I think the man died a poor man. But those that worked with him, those that were he entrusted the campaign to, he meant well, but he probably did not have the wherewithal, the capacity, the good health, and the monitoring ability to see the program through.
Wait, Mr. Shegun, so should he not be blamed for not overseeing that? Because the reason I'm asking this question, I could still remember a statement attributed to retired General T.Y. Danjuma when he said that he was regretting, or not just him, his mates were also regretting that they did not come during that Buhari's time. Because if they had come, they would have been able to steal so much, because people around former or late President Muhammad Buhari were stealing, and Mr. President was looking the other way. So would you not say that his lack of dealing with the issues, because that's why we voted him into power, was for him not just only to take the bull by the horn in dealing with those that stole and make sure we recover our money, which we know the EFCC had about 603 convictions in the first 2 years of him being in office, and had about $1.4 billion now. Yes, being taken back. But the question is, we still had lots of monies that were stolen from the Nigerians' purse. So my question, by people around him, should he not also be held accountable for those monies that were stolen under his watch?
Of course, the buck stopped on his table.
Yes.
But like I said,
yes.
Don't let us dwell on him too much. Now everybody should carry his can.
Okay.
You know, you have made a minister. Maybe the only mistake the late president made was that he puts people in positions and did not follow through with monitoring them.
Okay.
Oversighting them.
Okay.
That he could be liable for that.
Yeah.
But the fact that somebody stole, that person should be hanged for his offense.
And so was he able to do that? But anyway, I'll get your thoughts on that. We need to go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we look at the legacies of our former President Muhammadu Buhari, what Nigerians feel he did right, and those things. And many are also still asking the question, where did he get it wrong? Let's go on a break and we'll come back and have more discussion. Well, I need to welcome you back from that break, and in case you're just joining us, well, it looks as if you've missed the first half of this great discussion, and is the Polity on Kaftan TV, and I still remain Mike Ebebadio. Well, anyway, we're looking at the legacies of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died on Sunday and was buried only yesterday, and many will say there's every reason for us to look at his life and times, and then look at mostly how he really performed as not just a military president or head of state that he was in 1983 up to 1985, but also critically look at how he really performed in the last 8 years of his time in 2015 up to 2023. Many will say, did he perform credibly well, or did he really show some signs of not doing enough to deal with the contending problems that were being faced by Nigerians at that time, and the reason that he got massive vote during the 2015 general elections, and the first that was able to remove an incumbent government from office and definitely come in as one many craved for at that time. But irrespective of which side of the divide you seem to be, we'll definitely love to get your reactions towards the twilight of the show. But now joining us and to join on this lovely discussion as we look at the legacies of former President Muhammadu Buhari, we're now being joined by a legal practitioner, and indeed someone that will be also helping us have his own views as it concerns the performance of no other but former President Muhammadu Buhari. And I'm talking of no other person but Barrister Nnamdi Uzuegbu. Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this discourse. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very mumuch.
Well, I rather want to ask you, because before we went on the break, we talked, or rather we're looking at the anti-corruption war of the late Director General. And well, a lot was being said by my guest already, and I would like to get your thought, especially as it concerns his anti-corruption war. But before that, I also want to first get your reaction when you heard of the demise of the former president. What came to your mind? I'm a bit curious just to find out as we roll in on our discussion.
Well, the death of anyone, the news of death of anyone, personally for me, it's a time for sober reflection.
Okay.
It's a reminder of my own mortality.
Okay.
So those are my first initial thoughts. I sent my prayers to his family. Then the immediate reaction which followed was the regret I had, which most Nigerians have, the fact that Buhari wasn't able to give us any biography or any book at all about his time in office. He has served in various capacities as military leader, as so commanding various fronts in our military.
Yes.
Active participant in the Civil War, the July coup of 1966, and as president, of course. And he's not going to give us. I feel like I felt almost like that was an offense against history. I feel like when you attain that position, you do not have that luxury of saying I do not want to write a book, or I do not want to give an account of my time. So I think a lot of the Buhari fans are going to be lost because of that. So that was my only. I was feeling sad, mostly as a result of that, as opposed to he died in his ripe old age. He was 82 years. So I was more sad about the fact that he did not give us with anything documented that we could continue to go after with time.
Now, talk about what he did not give us and what he gave us. Like you said, it's sad he never gave us a book to really look at his legacies. But irrespective of that, we're now looking at the legacies on the show today. And I want us, like I said, let's look at his anti-corruption stand, because you agree with me that was the basic reason, one of the major reasons Nigeria voted him into power in 2015.
I agree.
We saw the FCC doing a great deal in convictions during the first 3 years of his reign. Many will say, well, that's a credit to him. And others will say, well, he seemed to have looked the other way, especially when it concerns his party men. I could still remember a former chairman of his ruling party, Adams Oshomole, said, if you are now into the APC, go and see no more. But I want us to talk more about what you feel, especially as it concerns the anti-corruption war.
Yes, my criticism about that would be what everyone has said. It looked a bit one-sided.
Okay.
Even as one-sided as it was, the most corruption cases that were pursued during his regime were not seen to the foreseeable conclusion. We didn't really get judgment on the high-profile cases. There was a lot of bravado. There was a lot of we saw houses of judges being broken into.
Okay, yeah.
There are so many.
We'll definitely come to that.
The law enforcement agencies did a lot to help to make us believe that the government was actually fighting corruption on a grand scale.
Okay.
But I suppose, what you want when you fight corruption is you investigate, you prosecute, and we get a conviction. I don't think we got enough of that. And I also align with the criticism that says that most of his fights were one-sided. It was mainly against key opposition figures, people who were vocal in the opposition. In fact, we saw cases where you say something today and next week the EFCC is at your door. So when it looks one-sided, like, no matter how good your intentions are, of course it's going to be met with criticism. So
you felt the EFCC was just doing his bid, especially as it concerns going after perceived opponents. But I also would want you to remember that the EFCC also, in 2022 to be precise, also talked about their frustration, especially as it concerns his own anti-corruption war, especially when he released or pardoned the controversial presidential pardon of two former governors. I'm talking about Jolly Yame of Taraba State and Joshua Jare of Plateau State. Now, they also talked about their frustration in having those pardons being given out. So let's look at it. Was it also that as much as he was also using different agencies under the control of the AGF as of then, Malami, to deal with this perceived enemy, he was not also carrying those anti-graft agencies along, and in every way was also not doing enough to make them fight those corruption cases to the final conclusion. So let's look at that. Was he really not giving enough free hand to these anti-graft agencies, and would that also be said to be a minus during his fight against corruption?
Well, we can already look at what it is on the face of it. It definitely seems like he wasn't giving them enough support. It definitely feels like they were receiving calls from above to let's go of certain matters. And it boils down to the politics of the thing. He came in as not a military at this time. He came in as a democratic president. Okay. So, of course, he needed to play the politics. And I feel that was a big stain. That was a big stain on his anti-corruption fight. The fact that he had to play politics as a democratic leader. Yes.
Well, anyway, yes, you want to react to what he said? Playing politics.
Yes, I read in one of his interviews when he left office, when he was asked that he was not as vibrant, pushful as a civilian president. He said when he served as a military head of state, it was under the military.
Yes.
So pronouncements can become law immediately, but in a democratic setting, there are so many things tying down the hands of the president.
So you felt his hands were tied? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not really in the sense of somebody breathing down on him.
On his neck.
But there are procedures and processes under a civilian administration, under a democratic setting,
yes,
that will necessarily make the system slow,
okay,
make governance slow, and then you can't act by whims alone.
Okay.
There is the rule of law that must be followed, and in the eyes of the public, those ones can present the leader as being weak.
Okay. But you also agree with me that on the mining you said he played politics. Both of you would really ascertain to that he played politics rather than doing what he needs to do.
As a civilian president, he has to play politics.
But would you also agree that we saw during his first term in office from 2015 till after the elections of his first term, he really played a lot of politics, especially having Bukola Saraki as the head of the Red Chambers. We saw him not allowing some free flow of things, but that would not be said during his second term when he had someone that was termed, forgive my language, I didn't say it, he was termed more like a rubber stamp president of the Senate, and I'm talking about Ahmed Lawan, who in every way gave him free flow of what he needed. So would it be right to say that he did not get enough when we knew he had every reason to give credit to the senators of them? Because every policies, every budget he came out with was hardly debated on the floor of the Red Chambers or that of the Green Chambers. It was just passed. So would it be fair to say he played politics?
Well, the National Assembly is not set out as an opposition arm, an opposition agency to the government. It depends on how you want to look at the performance of the National Assembly. When you say a rubber stamp, it depends on the decisions that the Assembly took for you to be able to come to that kind of conclusion. I do not believe that the Senate was a rubber stamp. I believe that
during the presidency,
it is the policy of the government at that material time that we should look at.
Okay.
If the policy of the government says that we want to move to the left, the National Assembly is not configured to fight the government to the extent that they will say no, it is left that we want to go, especially when they are of the same political party. The party is in the majority. Some of those things that you see playing out in the National Assembly will probably have been concluded at various levels.
Okay.
Various levels. So the members of the National Assembly, don't also forget that every one of them, including the president, is a perennial progeny of the Nigerian state.
Larger society.
We did not plug them from the moon. So everything that you are seeing playing out is the typical Nigerian way.
Okay.
You know what is facing you is backing the other person. So the only area that I feel like we have said earlier that people can say the former president Ed is in not providing enough oversight on those he put in positions of authorities.
To look at those issues.
Yes.
Okay, now you've just said that. I want us to leave that of anti-corruption war and come to the issue of the rule of law, because on the mind they are correlated. It's only right to look at that, knowing that, like you said, he left from a military head of state in 83 to 85 and came in as a civilian leader in 2015. And well, the rule of law is always paramount if any president will succeed, especially under the civilian regime. But there are major talking points, especially as he stands on the rule of law. Many felt he still brought out that khaki style of administration, and the judiciary under his watch was almost gagged, as alleged, not me saying, because if we take our mind back to 2016, when we had midnight raids from the DSS in homes of judges in Port Harcourt, Abuja, Lagos. Many will call that a watershed in his way of handling judges and the judiciary. I want us to look at that. as we also progress in wanting to understand his style of leadership, especially as it concerns the rule of law?
Yeah. I guess I'll take it now. Now, if you want to know Buhari's stance on the rule of law, look no further than the man himself.
Okay.
Now, the first time I was called to the man in 2017. So the first conference I attended was in 2018.
Okay.
And Buhari came to talk to us.
Okay.
And he made a comment. He said that in matters of rule of law, in matters of national security, the rule of law must take a backseat. Meaning that he tried to put national security in front of rule of law. And many lawyers criticized at the time. I know many lawyers wrote articles, went on interviews, but that was Buhari's thinking. In what he considered national interest, he was willing to subvert the rule of law. He said it by himself. He said it to lawyers, to a gathering of thousands of lawyers. He said it by himself, and I think that showed throughout his tenure as president, even in the civilian reign. I don't think there's anybody, even his strongest supporters, I don't think anyone is going to score him very high on the rule of law. And there are a number of instances which I know we can go over on this show. There are so many instances, so many of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if you look at, because you said he will definitely think of national security over the judiciary.
Over the rule of law.
That's what he said. But would you also want to say that those raids that were done on the houses of these judges, and especially that of one that will come to mind is that of Walter Onoge, who was then the chief judge of the Federation, and many criticized, Chief Justice of the Federation. Many criticized that happening just close to the 2019 general election.
Yes.
So let's look at that. Do you feel he was in order? Because he also said, if you look at section 292 of the Constitution, he has every constitutional right to do what he did.
To do what he did? The manner when the Chief Justice was removed?
Yes, so he said. If you look at section 292 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended, gives the president the right to remove any judge. But anyway, undermining, he also has to go to the red chambers and get to third majority vote on that. But he, like you said,
NJC.
Yes, he said,
it wasn't followed. The Constitution wasn't followed.
He said that he would definitely think of national security over the rule of law. And what he felt was done then was he felt the general election would have been compromised if Onoge was still the Chief Justice of the Federation.
Well, the Constitution does not give him that power. This issue of national security coming before the rule of law, it must be done according to the rule of law. Now, who can say this? It's a court of law that can come and say, okay, now you are putting national security ahead of certain rights and liberty to be suspended. It's the court that can do it. Now, look at the way Onoge was removed. He was removed by an order, probably by the Code of Conduct Bureau. Code of Conduct Tribunal, yes. Tribunal. And if you look at that order, I've never seen an order like that in my life. Even at the time I was in practice, I've never seen, up to today, I've not seen an order where no lawyer moved the motion. The order did not. Of course, every lawyer was scared to put their name on that kind
as of then.
On that kind of order. It was a very sharply drafted order, and he was removed on that ground. Apart from that, there was a court of appeal decision that says the case against Onoge must be halted. Investigation, suspension, halted. All that was discarded, and Onoge was removed because the president wanted him out for reasons best known to him. Now, I'm not. Nobody is coming here to hold Onoge's brief to say, okay, there were not certain things not going on under his tenure as CJN. But the issue was do it according to the rule of law, which is according to the Constitution, and that was not followed. And that was what many people criticized. So it looked like an affront on the judiciary. I remember the NBA went on a 2-day warning strike and issued strong condemnations against it.
Yeah. You know, the problem has always been what is national security?
Okay.
And the security of or the interests of the people at the helm of affairs. So at times when they talk about national security, they are probably talking about their own
personal interests.
But you see, when national security, when the narrative, when the tape of national security is played in any situation, everybody must bow.
Okay.
Because we will think that there are some things that they are saying that we are not privy to.
Okay.
So when the president says, in the interest of national security, we are taking this decision over the rule of law, then we are going to shout. There will be, like he said, protest here and there, but the government will still have its way. I don't know whether now the removal of Justice Enege, maybe some people are not regretting it now, maybe some people will have said, okay, maybe I would have done something different from what we did that time. Maybe if he had written his memoirs, like you said, like the one the late Babangida wrote, maybe we'll have seen something about it that says that maybe
gives us every reason
for why we like he rightly pointed out, all that have gone with him into the grave. But we know that the right procedures were not followed in removing Justice Onegin, and then there are so many other decisions that were taken at that material time, taken in the interest of national security, that we all know that is probably because of their own enlightened self-interest.
So let's look at his stance, especially as concerns the rule of law. And I'm happy you're a lawyer. Would you what score would you naturally give him as it concerns the rule of law?
Over 10?
Over 10.
I'll give him a 4.
A 4.
Yes, and this is me being generous, because.
But would that be fair to his person?
I think
knowing that he came from the military style of administration and coming into a civilian body. Because why I ask this question, let's not forget also that the former general also ruled us and was greatly criticized for not obeying court order, especially coming from the Supreme Court, which is the apex court of the land. And I'm talking of no other person but Olusegun Obasanjo. If you take your mind back to the case between Lagos State government, Tinubu, who is funny enough the present president of the country, and him, that was the first and only time I saw any government not pay heed to the Supreme Court pronouncement. So would it be fair to say Buhari did not do well? It's calling him a 4. When we know the precedence of how former military generals.
Until we discuss Obasanjo too.
What you're telling us is you are telling us that
I'm just asking.
We should not elect former generals anymore.
No, that's not what I said. Please, don't take me out of context. That's what he's saying. Because if we came to be putting the heap on Buhari, should we not also look at that of also General Olusegun Obasanjo and how he
discuss Obasanjo? Yes. But now we are going to also remember that Buhari campaigned strongly on this issue
of the rule of
that was his biggest criticism. We said, okay, no, this guy is this man is going to come again, repression, oppression, suppression of liberty, suppression of, and he said, no, I'm a reformed Democrat.
Yes.
So he campaigned heavily and said he was going to safeguard rights, he was not going to trample on press freedom, and he was going to promote the rule of law. He said he was a repentant, he had dubbed the cloak of a general and he had assumed the cloak of a democratic leader. But did that show? Maybe old habits die hard, as we saw. But
no, don't forget what we have been saying on this program, that Buhari was an upright man, upright president, but he appointed people that were lower than him in integrity, and he did not have the capacity to oversight them. So many of those things we are calling atrocities now, maybe Buhari may not know 1/10 of them. Maybe they cut the Roku tree in the bush using his name.
He was the president.
He was the undermining. I thought he knew. That's why he told his wife in his very last words to tell us to forgive him, or Nigerians to forgive him. But anyway, as much as he was calling him before, I could still remember in 2023 he signed a series of bills that gave great autonomy to the judiciary, especially as it concerns its autonomy, financial autonomy, and that many will say is also a plus. But a plus.
I was taken to court for that as well.
Okay, well, anyways, as much as he was taken to court on that issue, I'll plead with both of you to hold on. We need to go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll not just only look at the economy itself, but also we'll be giving you the opportunity to also air your view as it concerns the legacies of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died on Sunday and, funny enough, was buried yesterday. Let's go on a break and we'll come back and have some more discussion. Well, I'll need to welcome you back, and you're still with the Polity on Kaftan TV. We're taking a critical look at the legacies of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who was born on December the 17th, 1942, and died only last Sunday. Many will say, many, especially the family, felt that great loss, and many Nigerians, especially those that would say lived a great legacy in their life as it concerns the well-being of some Nigerians, and others will also criticize to say, well, they feel he falls short of most of the promises he made during most of his elections campaign in 2015 and 2019. And irrespective of which side of the divide you seem to be, we're just having that critical talk, especially as we look at those legacies. We're looking at that of insecurity. How much did he do, or what did he do? Knowing that also, many will say he did little or nothing. I wish the time would be there for us to look at that of insecurity, but we looked at the rule of law and also that of his anti-corruption war, whether he really performed credibly well in dealing with those corrupt cases, or maybe he looked the other side, like T.Y. Danjuma said. I did not say it. T.Y. Danjuma said so. But we still have both of our guests right here in the studio, and they'll be helping us to look at some other issues. And one issue, I want us to still, we'll come back to the rule of law, but one issue that still holds many Nigerian surprise, especially as it concerns the reign of President Muhammadu Buhari, is that of the economy. He also came on the promise of changing the economy. Undermining insecurity was thriving as of that time. We've lost about 15 local governments to Boko Haram during the president, and ISWAP during the president Jonathan's era. Many also voted him because of the economy, and many felt the economy was not doing well under President Goodluck Jonathan's time, and they brought him into being. But I want us to quickly look at how the economy fared under him. Yes, I know that when he came into office, inflation was put at 8.7%. Funny enough, when he left office, it was put at 22.2%. If we talk about also unemployment, it was put about 10%. But when he left office, it rose to 33.4%. If we take ourselves into the Naira design policy, all of that would be so much for us to talk about. But I want you now, Barrister Nnamdi, to help us look. What's your reaction? A quick one. Just talk us through your reaction that concerns how he fared with the economy. Were we in worse shape that we've been? Because many will say even the problems we're being faced now started during his time. And others will say, well, would you put a blame on him on how the economy was, especially knowing that we're just a major economy of oil, and when it's not doing well in the international market, what do you expect us to feel? So let's look at your own reaction as it concerns the economy at the time of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yeah, well, I'm not an economist. You mentioned figures like inflation and things like that. I'm going to speak as a citizen. Yes. Somebody who was directly affected by Buhari's economic policies.
Or blessed. Okay, well.
First of all, I would say is that it's probably the worst in my lifetime. It's the worst it's been in my lifetime for simple things. We had the parallel exchange rate where only a few could access forex at a particular amount, while the majority had to fall back on the black market price, which was very exorbitant. Now, before Buhari, you could go travel abroad with your Naira MasterCard, shop as much as you want. Yes. It would take the money in Naira. We could do all that. These things became a luxury under Buhari. You now had to go through the long process of assessing foreign exchange before you could make a common trip. To pay school fees, it became difficult for parents to pay school fees for their children abroad, or to even send them allowance. The crunch was very severe, and these are things that happened under Buhari. So if you score him high, now you could attribute it to oil prices and things like that, but the point is our economy basically went under recession twice.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, twice under Buhari. So you can see that there's really nothing more to. I think that signifies where our economy was under Buhari.
Do you align to his assertion?
I think I'll start from the issue of recession. But again, don't forget that, like him, I'm not an economist.
Yes.
I'm just talking as an innocent bystander. The recession. Nigeria went into recession twice, like you said, but the first one was most severe, and it was a surprise to many that we could come out of it that early.
Okay.
Yes, and that is, we can credit that to his government.
Okay.
Because there are nations that did not fare as better than we did under recession. And we had two. You know, shortly after the recession came COVID-19, which also
it was a global phenomenon.
It was a global
every
phenomenon.
economy was really taking a hit.
And the Nigerian economy was greatly impacted too. So don't forget, when we are assessing his economic performance, his performance in the economy, we have to take these two events into account. This greatly affected the economy at that material time. But the truth remains that like those issues that you mentioned, some of the economic indices
were in the red.
Were in the red under his administration, and the foundation of what we are experiencing now was laid during his administration. In fact, at that material time, people will tell you that rice was so amount of money per bag, or we were buying petrol as so amount. We were eating what the Muslims call sahur. We were eating the early morning food. We were taking some of these things on credit. We were living large at that material time, while it was what the Christians will call white sepulchre. The inside is rotting, but you now have the whole place is painted white. So we were living well, we were living good at that time, but deep into the economy there is a big rot. That was the period of subsidy.
Of course.
When we were paying hugely to some cabals. They were enjoying the money, while some of those things that and then crumbs were falling into our lapses, and then we were buying fuel at very ridiculous prices at that material time. So when the truth of the economy, when the true state of the economy was open to us by the removal of subsidy and then the exchange rate by this administration, then the eyes of everybody was now open to the reality of the rot in the system. But by that time, his administration has left power. You know?
I need to cut you.
No, I want to say again. During that administration, the government banned some items.
Yes.
From coming in, especially rice.
Yes.
Under the administration,
he closed the borders as well.
Serious work was done to improve rice production in this country.
And did our farmers not feel better during those closures?
Yes, our farmers felt better. In fact, some of the rice that were produced at that time, we can still find them in the market. Many Nigerians, since that time, started eating some of the local rice. Before that time, it was a taboo in many homes
to eat local rice.
I think that we can equally attribute to that administration. Now, whether it is sustainable is a different ballgame. Don't forget that Lagos launched a rice pyramid.
Yes.
There was one in Abuja during the tenure that disappeared miraculously.
It was a hoax.
We were there, we videoed it, we saw it. I'm the devil's advocate. I can't say anything more than that.
It was a hoax.
Okay, but yes, you've just said some of the major indices, especially as on the negative trend. But many will also say, because that same question I asked both of you. Funny enough, we had Garba Shehu answering that. And he made us understand, which is true, that also during the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, the NNPC made a profit of 297 billion United States dollars. The first time they came out to say they made a profit in 44 years. That was under his time. He also read out some marvelous gains that Nigerian economy gained. He only talked about 2 days back. I monitored his interview, and he talked about infrastructural development. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was there. The second Niger Bridge came under the tenure of
commissioned by him.
Yes,
under his tenure.
And also he completed major railway projects. On the mind, it was started by Goodluck Jonathan, but his administration also took credit in also ensuring that it was completed. And all of these, he said, were major significant economic gains under the reign of President Muhammad Buhari.
Don't forget, he was there for 8 years. 8 solid years. You have to even look at the resources available to the government at that material time. And you now weigh them against the backdrop of some of these achievements that you are talking about.
Yeah.
Are they major? Are they enough for 8 years? So I believe, like I said, the man has come and has gone.
Okay.
We are learning the lessons now.
Yes.
We sincerely hope the politicians that are there now and those that will come after are learning something. Some of these achievements are something that probably we can ascribe to states, and some of them to local governments,
and not to the federal government.
Well, thank God, the federal government. But I think that we should be talking about things bigger, more notable things in 8 years.
Like you said, it's always right that you discover to recover, and that's why we're doing this. We're really looking at the legacy of former President Muhammad Buhari, knowing that he was laid to rest just yesterday, in every way to help shaping this administration and also those that will be coming. How would they be judged? Would they be judged right to say that they did the needful, especially as Nigerians voted them into power, or many Nigerians still feel that bitter pills in their mouth, especially as it concerns governance? That's why we're critically looking at this. And like I said, we will not just be talking alone or just doing the discussion ourselves. We would love to get your reactions to follow, and that's why we'll now be opening up the lines to get those views of yours. It's now time you call in. Let's get your take as it concerns the legacies. What would President Muhammad Buhari be remembered for? Would it be that of anti-corruption war? Undermining, my guests seem to have a different view about that. Or would it be that of the economy? Many will say, are we not feeling the pinch more now and saying, oh, we wished, like he said, that Nigerians will remember him when he leaves office? Or do you feel also that he did not perform well as it concerns the economy, and not just that, also the rule of law that he's promised to uphold, knowing that he came from a military regime style of leadership and into a civilian government? Did he do also credibly well in that? Or just like Barrister Nnamdi would say, well, he has every reason to look the other way. 4/10. Well, the children need to go back to school. But anyway, he's late, and late he is, but legacies are what we are still looking at on the show today. Like I said, it's now time you can call. The calls have been coming since, so we will need to apologize. We needed to have this discussion first to also bring out the line of our discourse and getting your reactions. So we'll now take your calls and also get your reactions to follow. Let's go ahead and get those calls coming in. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the show. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Thank you very much. I'm calling from Kogi State.
And your name?
I'm calling from Kogi State, Lokoja.
Yes, your name. Hello?
Yes, my name is Malam Mohammed.
Okay. Mohammed, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I've listened to the analysis the two gentlemen are making. Well, we are in a democratic era.
Okay.
And to God be the glory, everybody is entitled to his or her opinion on the legacies of a leader or whatever you want to say. Well, let's not forget when Buhari came as a military president, he tried to fight the endemic problem of corruption.
Okay.
I think there's no way you will do that without talking about his first coming. Then, when he came back as a born-again Democrat, you see, the man went through some turbulence, and whether we like it or not, he is late. But all he had in mind was that he was coming to make Nigeria better than he met it. But you know what? Under the military administration where he ruled with executive fiat, under the democratic governance, there were laws and other rule of law and other checks and balances that checked his activities there. So you cannot expect him to be what he was as a military man compared to what he was as a civilian. And people should not forget that the political economy of Nigeria is the sum total of all other activities that surround it. So when he came, Nigeria was under a serious security threat. If I'm not mistaken, he was to get back a portion of Nigeria back to the federation, the federating unit. Then along the line too, let's not forget, he had challenges trying to stabilize the government, stabilize the system, because there were things. And I know as a Nigerian, I'm not a card-carrying member of his party, but we were watching. You see, he tried to stabilize what we call agriculture. Okay. He made sure that Nigerian farmers who were farming, in fact, don't forget about the rice, what do you call it?
Program. Yes.
When he was there. So everybody wanted to farm rice, and at the end
okay, Mohammed, I will plead with you. You know, we will need to give others that opportunity also air their view.
Let me sum up now.
Yes.
So everything about Buhari was that, don't forget the airports that he brought to limelight, the fast rail he made available. So the blaming of the dead, and that nobody, no matter the leader you have your weaknesses and challenges. So when people talk about the dead or the legacies of a former leader, I think Nigeria looks like a very difficult place to work, because while you are there, nobody talks. But the moment you are there, people hold their carrot and stick to tell you who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you so much, Mohammed, for your reaction. And wow, that's why we enjoy this show, and that's why we do it. It's for us to get those reactions. But like I will also emphasize that everybody is entitled to their views. And while we're looking at the legacy, we're trying to lay the foundation for this present administration and those coming behind to also be seen to if they'll be judged well after they've left office. Yes, good day to you and welcome to the show. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Bucha, calling from Kuje.
Oh, welcome to it. Go ahead, Solomon.
What I want to say about this issue of Buhari is that Buhari think that Nigeria is behind the rules in that case, 1993.
Yes.
He used Nigeria, he thought that Nigeria is the same way. He was reading that time in 1993. And he didn't spend how many years? He not 1 year and some. He didn't spend up to 3 years. So if he thought that Nigeria is the same way, they don't know that so many things have gone in Nigeria. People have got to know that everything has changed. So when it gets to point, I think that it's the same thing. And look at the Buhari carry Nigeria backward, like 10-20 years backward. That's what happened. So the way he thought that this is what the other time he wanted to choose his ministers. How many months did he take to choose ministers?
Yeah.
How many months?
6 months.
Some of Nigeria was this same way, you know. And even if the country that time Buhari was president, the major president that time is Diabo. So many of us were working every day when they were in the world in the man. So many of them that were shouting at Buhari. Some of them were still a king when the Buhari was doing that time, and they didn't know what happened. So they didn't know what Diabo was the major man. So many people did not know. And when you look at what is happening in Nigeria now, Nigeria, everything has changed. It's not the same way. So Buhari now came and they ate again and they held. So why did you come and tell us back and remove the that they were making?
Okay, Mr. Solomon, I will thank you for your reaction. I'll thank you so much for your reaction, but we need to give others that opportunity to also hear their view. Yeah, he talked about something, and he talked about Buhari not even coming into office. The first 6 months, we had a period of him not even putting ministers. I even came on the national TV to say they call him Baba Go Slow. So he said, not me again. Let's look at that. Was he really prepared? Just like he said, was he really prepared for governance? Or did he, like many would believe, or was being alleged, that he felt that he was shortchanged during the military era and wanted to complete his rule as a civilian head of state?
Well, I don't want to believe that he was not prepared. But the truth be told, that period of 6 months after his election was where the economy really took serious bashing. Yes, he died. That was the period, everybody knew who Buhari was in 1983. And they saw how vibrant and how draconian, how swift he was in punishing misdeeds. So when he came in, everybody was afraid. When he came in as a civilian president, everybody, especially the industrialists, the foreigners, those ones that have probably soiled their hands in one way or the other, they started fleeing because they did not know the direction. Policy direction of government. They waited to hear what will happen to exchange rate, what will happen to the power sector.
Yeah, so before really investing,
before investing,
just so
investors.
Apart from that uncertainty, even Buhari himself could be said to have demarketed Nigeria. He was always going abroad in all his trips. He talked about how Nigerian youths can be lazy, how fantastically corrupt we are. These are things you do not say as our marketer in chief. Because that's what you are as president. So these things might have pushed investors away.
No, at the beginning, he was going abroad, and everybody knew him as anti-corruption fighter. So he was talking about corruption, how corrupt the system was. He was sending those signals. He was talking tough. He was talking tough at that time, and so many people, especially those who believe that they probably have one skeleton here and there, they flee.
Okay, well, anyway, we're not running away, but sitting here and getting reactions from our callers. Hello, good day to you.
Hello, is it Captain Television?
Yes, it's Captain Television. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Abu Usama. I'm calling from Bauchi State.
From Bauchi State. Go ahead, Abu.
Okay, my contribution, I've been with you on this discussion, and I want to affirm that Buhari has contributed a lot to Nigeria.
Okay, without doubt.
Buhari fought as a military man and make Nigeria one country. He came as a military leader. I could recall I was in secondary school, early 80s, and he did very well in corruption. And eventually, when he became a military democratic leader, Buhari left incredible mark. I can cite an example. Buhari completed the Kano-Maiduguri expressway started during Obasanjo regime. It was not completed. It was completed during Buhari regime. So, due to time, I could not continue. But I know Buhari is a upright person of integrity, honest, and somebody who is disciplined. So what we do is to pray for him. Allah grant him peace.
Well, thank you so much. And, different folks, different strokes for different folks. Some will really attest to how he performed credibly well, while others will also say, well, he short thought of their expectation as it concerns different sectors of the economy, infrastructure, and not only that, but also the rule of law and that of a corruption drive. But we still have more persons calling in. Yeah, hello, good day to you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I say my kids don't do.
Okay, your name and where you calling us from? We'd love to get that first.
My name is Mohammed. I'm calling from Maiduguri.
Oh, Maiduguri. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Just because of time factor. Honestly speaking, every human being has to right. We all know that.
Yes.
It's not bad. So we are clearing it now for us that are here. What counts? Yes.
Okay, Mohammed, I would really apologize. We seem to be having network issues, especially as it concerns our call. Do well to call us back. Let's get your reaction.
Maybe you should change this position.
Yes, please do so. And we'd love to get your reaction as it concerns looking at the legacy of former President Muhammadu Buhari in areas of anti-corruption drive. We looked at that of the economy and mostly the rule of law, which many will say he performed well or he did not perform that well. But let's get more calls and get more reactions. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Yeah, your name and where you calling us from?
It's close to his TV.
Oh, can you do us a favor and walk away from where your TV set is?
You turn down the volume.
Or turn down the volume of your TV set.
All right.
Yes, it will give us better.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now better. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Brian, calling from Bayelsa.
Oh, Bright from Bayelsa. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. In this country, one of the things that I fear most is that based on ethnic favoritism and the past we come from. We have to evaluate the outcome of our leaders who are just past administration. Frankly speaking, Nigeria is, we have not recovered from the injuries we incurred during Buhari administration. So why would somebody be talking that Buhari government is not something good for Nigeria? We all know how when Buhari started and then within few months we saw the country economy go through recession. So what are we saying? The totality of every government is how much, whether you put ministers there, put people who is in different departments, what is the outcome of your leadership? That is what we are after. Buhari government yielded nothing to Nigeria and we are still suffering from this now. I think I will score Buhari nothing. Many times during my old mother used to tell me that during the first military regime of Buhari, that many persons died. So Buhari government has nothing to Nigeria, and we should because I'm people annoyed because of the administration of Buhari. Nigeria, good luck administration were shouting corrupt. What happened? You came and campaigning that you want to end corruption. So what suffering, pain.
Okay, well, Bright is a bright new day, and one that we should learn to also self-pedal, especially with our anger.
I think there are three kinds of people relating to this. There are people who see Buhari for himself.
Okay.
Those who will love him regardless of how he performed the office.
Yeah.
And there are those who can separate Buhari, the person and the government official.
Okay.
So I think when you look at that people see it from different sides. Those who see him just as a government official do not like him very much, and those see him as Buhari probably love him a little too much. I think those are there's nobody that has divided opinion as much as Buhari in his life, and now we are seeing in death as well.
Okay, no, we'll love to get more reactions and see. Let's see if more persons will call and give us their view. Hello, good day to you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from, please.
My name is Chief and I'm from Kaduna.
Oh, from Kaduna. Go ahead.
Yeah, you see about Buhari, before he came on board, we were having every trust that Buhari was going to build our country, our dear country, Nigeria, with his integrity. As you think the Buhari integrity was not enough, we saw a minister painting Ethiopia Airlines, and Buhari commissioned it. Corruption became very endemic. It was as if Buhari had opened the treasury, and everybody was going inside the treasury. You see, when you say somebody has integrity, and the people surrounding him, they are not having integrity, and you keep on watching them stealing. We saw somebody retired who was a retired car seller, and he became a billionaire. We saw a minister who painted our place to Ethiopia, whatever it is, and he became up to now he's working freely. And there are the set of people who are today are telling Nigerians that they are doing collection. People like Amici, people like Aerofy. I asked a pertinent question: which credibility have they got? And you see, when Buhari came, he said he was going to fight corruption. I was at EFCC office in Abuja, and I saw how people were running helter-skelter. After that one, after them now realizing that Jonathan was even better than Buhari in terms of corruption. Corruption became endemic. Everybody was just doing anything they liked. My brother, the former minister for environment, Sadias, this cash transfer,
Humanitarian,
800 billion cash transfer. You see, before Buhari came on board,
Jonathan was doing this what we call acquisition scheme. And when Buhari came, he now decided to turn it to cash transfer. We saw a vice president who was even distributing money. And how do you account for those money? And another one is security. We thought that Buhari was going to fight security. Security became worse. Banditry became order of the day during Buhari time. We thought Buhari was going to eliminate all those things, taking into consideration his background
okay, we'll need to plead with you that we need to let you go on that, to give others that opportunity. Because of our time. Thank you so much. If we allow him, he might just even talk us till the end of the show.
Yes.
But anyways, that's the beauty of the show.
Solid points he made.
Yes, beautiful points he made. Yeah. And that's the beauty of this show. We'll give you always that opportunity to air your view. But we also advise, well, you need to do it in a very civil manner and in a humane way. But let's continue with the calls and get more reactions. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're on to Kaftan TV. Is the Polity. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes, I'm calling from Kaduna. Good afternoon, Kaftan.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
I have a concern to make regarding to our former president. Buhari came to power while during that time he did very well. But the second coming as the democratic elected president that wanted Nigeria. Because he came to power by violence. He was even saying, I quote, if I don't win the election, definitely Nigeria, that I'm coming to rule against definitely Nigeria. And not only him, other person like the Empire of Kaduna, definitely Nigeria, that if they don't win, they will make Nigeria ungovernable. So it is a lesson for us and can advise also for the present government that they should take note. The main only few times we go another into campaign. Whoever campaign in Nigeria for any vote and use religion, use tribalism, use violence, that person should be banned from campaigning. And this is the bad Buhari when he used that concept was policy where we should do it. But however, he did well, best government, but the later government is disappointed Nigeria.
Well, anyway, thank you. You did not give us your name. You only told us where you're calling from. Yeah. Benedict. Thank you so much. Benedict. Well, anyway, he was just in a hurry to really tell us how he really feels, especially with that tenure of late President Muhammadu Buhari, 8 years from 2015 to that of 2023. Time is not on our side, but I feel we just need to take 2 more calls and we'll wrap things up today on the show as we try to get your final thoughts as it concerns the legacy of President Muhammadu Buhari. Hello, good day to you.
Afternoon, sir.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from, and please go right ahead. Oh, all the way from Oyo State. Go ahead.
Thanks very much, sir. On the topic on grant, Buhari as a normal human being has his own shortcomings. Nobody is perfect.
Most certainly.
But I believe sincerely that he has tried his best. On the issue of corruption, I believe he is to blame. People need to advantage of his age to rob us as a country. Look over, for instance, when he was in power, Sunday and Folabi, they were very close, went to the same school. When he met up in the Internal Affairs Ministry, he dealt with him. So God bless you, sir. Yeah.
Well, anyway, a brief one, but he just went straight to the point. The point still remains. How did he really fare as president of this great nation from 2015 to that of 2023? We looked at a great lot of things. But anyway, like I said initially, let's just see if we take this last call. And I'll really come to have your final thought as it concerns this very lovely edition of the Polity today. Hello, good day to you.
Hello, good day.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from, and please go right ahead.
Okay, my name is Ali. I'm coming from Abuja.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to make my own contribution. Firstly, I want to
sure that maybe soul from our former president, may he rest in peace.
I'll put amen to that.
Amen.
What I want to say about the whole thing is that President Buhari, or former President Buhari, so we could still remember that he came into office with a strong anti-corruption campaign promising to tackle Nigeria's deep-rooted corruption. But however, he has tried his best. To the best of my knowledge, I believe he has tried his best, because the issue of corruption in Nigeria cannot be solely blamed on Buhari, because the issue of corruption and the predates Buhari's administration. So for me, I believe he has tried his best, and we just have to continue praying and also striving as Nigerians to make sure that all the issues that we're having, we can overcome it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you also, and I feel that will be our last caller on the show today. And but we'll not go if I do not take your final thought, especially as it concerns our discourse today. And looking at the legacies, Barrister Nnamdi.
Yes.
Well, I know you had strong words, especially as it concerns another major talking point of his administration, especially as it concerns the rule of law, and that was the Twitter ban and all the drama that transpired then. Yeah. But I just want you to sum up all of that and your last thought as we walk away from the studio.
As lawyers, we always judge any administration on the adherence to the rule of law. Like I said, I didn't score him very high. Political opponents like Dasuki were detained for over 3 years, 4 years. Zaki, Nnamdi Kanu, the list is endless. Even journalists like yourself, Abba Jalingo, Jones Abiri, Olu Bakare, these are people that were all detained, and I don't think he fulfilled his promise to uphold the rule of law and enforce and ensure adherence to fundamental rights. I don't think I scored very high on that. But like they said, he's a human being. He had his strengths, he has his shortcomings, and I think the rule of law is one of his shortcomings. And he did his best for Nigeria. I just regret, like I said, that he did not tell us some part of the story, documenting it.
Well, we are just talking about his story for him already, and I really like to get your thoughts, Shago, especially as it concerns that of anti-corruption. And also some of the major reactions coming from our callers as it concerns his integrity as a person and his inability to deal, or rather rein in those persons that were working around him and ended up, forgive my language, messing up his administration.
Yeah, I think that I'll agree with you again on the last part. He was not able to rein in his lieutenants on the anti-corruption fight. Why he was an upright man, those the same cannot be said of all those who worked with him, and they really messed up the administration. I want to also say that maybe the health of the former president must have really affected his performance. He didn't have the robust health that was needed. Thank God he has gone home to rest now. We pray for his the peaceful repose of his soul. That's why, just like somebody said, anybody again coming on, mounting the rostrum to campaign for us, I think Nigerians must look very critically. Buhari performed. Some people say he performed very well in
during the military era.
During the military era, but some people will tell you it was Idi Agbon that was doing the whole show. So when he left power, what did he do? What did he do between that period to the time he came in as a civilian president? So we should look very critically at those who aspire to govern us.
Well, a beautiful way to wrap it up today on the show. Looking critically, and that's what we always enjoy to do on the Polity. We look critically at the issues, have them on the table and discuss extensively around them, as much as we also give you that opportunity to also be a part of it. But anyway, let's see how we'll do this same time tomorrow, when we'll have another lovely edition of the Polity. I still remain Michael Gobadia. Bye for now. God bless you.